We are here with the midway point of the XFL season, which is crazy to think about. We are 5 weeks in, 5 weeks to go. The second half of the season is going to be start pushing for the playoffs, for the XFL championship game. Now, I know it's only technically 3 total playoff games. You have the, 2 divisional, and then you have the championship. It's only going to be a 4-team playoffs. But when you have, something like this, a small league, you don't really, you don't really have all 8 in there. So you got to go with half the team. So, I think we know who 3 teams are. In my opinion, I have a feeling who 3 teams are. I don't know if the 4th team is going to happen, or who it's going to be, or if they're really going to have a chance. But you never know. Things can change in a heartbeat. And suddenly, this team that came out of left field is very good, beats up on, the Roughnecks, and suddenly they're in the championship game or something like that. Like, you just don't know. But let's get into it. Week 5 picks Houston over the Sea Dragons. I think Houston is the best team in the league. I don't think there's any way to dispute that, to be honest. I mean, if you want to say DC, I think you have a little bit of an argument. It's just Houston's offense, to me, is just insane on a completely different level. So I don't think I can put DC ahead of Houston right now. So they should take care of business, go to 5-0 on the season, and we'll see how their second half of the year shapes up. I have them making the playoffs right now, but we'll see. We'll see. So then we have the game of the week, and I was flipping back and forth in my head, really thinking about this. Try not to be biased. I am a Battlehawks fan, but really put a lot of thought into it. And I was going to go with DC for a while. And then this morning I changed my mind, and I'm like, I got to go with the Battlehawks. I just think that they have the loudest fan base. Obviously, you're in a dome, which helps too. But I think that, if they have another 30+ thousand, attendance, I think that can be a factor. It was a factor for the Renegades last week. They were going on silent count and all this, a couple false starts and whatnot. I think that DC is going to really struggle. And this is why I was thinking of having DC win until for a while, is because I think this is a true home field advantage. So DC wants this game badly. If you can go 2-0 and then, you face the Battlehawks for a third time, because they are both in the North Division, you have home field advantage in DC. I think you want that. I think if you split 1-1 and then, tiebreakers come down, you end with the same record, tiebreakers come down, to the end, and then, the Battlehawks win that. Going back to St. Louis in that dome, I think it's going to be really hard to do, especially for a playoff game. You might exceed 40,000 people for a playoff game. I don't know. We don't know what the playoffs are going to look like. I'm thinking Battlehawks, I think, have the advantage going into this week, but DC needs it. They need it because, again, if you see this team for a third time and you're 2-0 against them in the regular season, it's like, okay, well, here they come to your house again for a third time. Which anything is, is possible in the playoffs. You can lose, in the playoffs too. But I just think it's going to be a lot harder for them in the playoffs to go to St. Louis. So I have St. Louis winning this. The fans are going to be a factor. I think that the, Battlehawks are steaming. They want revenge for week 3. Again, you tie them 1-1. You give DC their first loss on the year. You're tied in the standings. So I think this is going to be the game of the week. There's potential. This might be game of the year. There is that kind of potential. I think if the fans can help, I think if the game is real close, you could have a game of the year contention right here in week 5, middle of the season. And then they still have, again, potentially a playoff game too. So, everything's at stake here for both teams. So, then we have the battle for the number 1 pick in the draft. The Guardians take on the Vipers. They have to go to the Vipers' house to take them on. Both teams are bad. uh, I have the Vipers winning. I don't know who's gonna win this. This is a coin toss game. Because I just think that both teams are really bad, and I think the winner of this loses out on the first pick. So, if there is actually, tanking in this league, I think that the Guardians might be trying to tank for that first overall pick. I'm just saying. But I have the Vipers winning. This might be a good game just because it's two bad teams. But I don't know. I probably won't even watch this. I'll just watch the highlights like I do for some of the games I just don't really care about. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this will be a good game, and maybe I should be watching this. I don't know. So, then the Renegades take on the Brahmas to end our Week 5. I have the Renegades winning. The Brahmas, to me, just don't feel like they're living up to their potential. I had them being, I think they were number 5 in my power rankings. And I don't see them. They just don't feel like the team they should. I feel like there's potential there. They should be, better than what they are, but they're just not. So that's why I'm picking the Renegades. Renegades offense isn't that good, but I think it's gonna come down to defenses and, yeah. Now maybe Brahmas win. I mean, they just held Houston to their lowest points total, which was I think 28 2 weeks ago. So maybe I'm underestimating the Brahmas, and maybe they can come out with a win here. But I just right now I'm not sold on them as a whole. So those are my picks. Let me know down below. Week 5, who are you picking? Who are you taking? Who do you have in the tank bowl? Who do you have in the battle for the North? Is Houston ever going to be or ever gonna lose, ever be dethroned and actually lose a game? I don't know. They might go 10-0. They might walk into the championship game and then the Defenders or Battlehawks have to play them for a second time. Who knows what's gonna happen? For now, though, like the video, share the video around, don't forget to subscribe, and I'm out of here. Peace.